Hello, in the last lecture, we saw input-output devices. In this lecture, we shall look at the motherboard and its components in detail. Motherboard. To understand the motherboard, we will refer to the human body again. The skeleton system connects all of our systems, bones and organs together and provides a place for each part of our body. Similarly, the motherboard provides a location to build up the computer hardware and connects different parts of the computer such as power supply, processor, hard drive, random access memory or RAM, various input-output devices, CD drive, network cards, and many more. Each circuit card performs a dedicated function and gets its power from the socket. A motherboard is also known as the main circuit board of the computer system. Now, we will discuss the components of the computer system. We have CPU socket, complementary metal oxide semiconductor or CMOS, basic input-output device or BIOS, memory slots, power connectors, peripheral component interconnect or PCI adapter card slots, and many more. We will begin with the first component, that is CPU socket or processor socket. A motherboard consists of CPU socket or processor socket. This is where CPU or central processing unit is placed. CPU sockets use a pin grid array or PGA, where pins on the underside of the processor connect two holes in the processor socket. The second component is the memory slot. Memory in this case refers to random access memory, and it is where processing of data, execution of commands, and operation on instructions take place. The execution speed in opening, closing, editing, and copying of files depends upon RAM. The processing speed is dependent upon the size of the RAM. Processing is faster if RAM is high. The third component is the power connector. Power connector, which is known as the 20 or 24 pin connector, can either be located close to the CPU socket or near the right edge of the motherboard. At this point, the main connector of power supply gets attached and provides power to the motherboard and its components. The fourth component is the chipset or expansion slot. These control communication between external devices and processors. It is the integrated circuit that consists of a set of electronic components which control the flow of data between peripheral devices, memory, and processors. Chipset further has two parts, north bridge and south bridge. The north bridge handles the communication between CPU and high-speed devices such as accelerated graphics port or AGP, video cards, and RAM, whereas the south bridge connects the CPU to low-speed peripheral buses such as peripheral component interconnect or PCI or industry standard architecture or ISA. The fifth component is BIOS. The BIOS is basic input-output system. It acts as an interface between operating system and motherboard. The BIOS chip contains sufficient information to operate the system on its own. When the computer is turned on, the BIOS is activated. The first purpose of the BIOS is to initialize the system, and then it tests various hardware components and loads an operating system from the memory device. The next component is the bus. A bus is a communication method for providing data transfer within various components of the motherboard such as processor, input-output devices, and memory. Computer buses are used for both parallel and bit serial connection. We shall talk about categories of buses and ports in the next video. Thank you.